Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. I'm CW. I'm here at BTH&T. You know what it means. And I'm in the dungeon. And I apologize for being a little late with this. That's the way it goes. If you're new into turning into this channel, I kind of like history and sometimes current events. We'll talk about those later, or I'll put them on a short because everything is going bonker-roos here. Oh well. But we're going to go back to history and to one of my favorite groups. Today I'm going to look at one of my favorite ancient civilizations. I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a hint, he says. That's as good as it gets. Yeah, that started near a river basin in a delta. Most ancient civilizations started this way. What Norman Kentor would say is a hydraulic despot area or something. But just wanted to look at the Egyptians today, the ancient Egyptians. Yeah, when we grow up, we always look back to our past life and go, God, what an idiot I was for doing something like that. And I don't want to be accused of the fault of, what is it called? Presentism. Presentism. Have you heard this? This is ridiculous. This is a theory. And it's usually pushed by someone in the Ivy League academic field. Usually somebody with supposedly historical value. You can't do that. That's where you're saying the people in the past should have had our sense of today. Now you can't do that. By that reckoning, I should have known better this morning about the way I felt today, this evening. It's just stupid. But these are Ivy League people. Now, true science, like, mathematics. Calculus is calculus, and it comes out to the same solution, either at Harvard or at the University of Miami. I mean, if it's done right. But that's just that. Now, so, ancient Egyptians, yeah, you're looking behind me, that's what they're famous for. Pyramids. Okay, newsflash, they weren't the only civilization to build pyramids. Okay. Theirs are just more popular, I guess. I don't know. They had a good publicist. Unlike Disney lately. But Native Americans built them, and they built mounds. And I'm speaking mostly like in Central America. Yeah, those are Native Americans too. Sumerians up in the Fertile Crescent area, Iraq, Iran area. And the Asians, the Chinese, they built a few. The Thais, they built some. So they're just not the only one. And they all built pyramids without the help of any alien race. I don't care what gym teacher tells you otherwise. Don't watch the History Channel. They used to do history. Now they're like, BSNBC. They used to do news. And then they just did it propaganda. By the way, still up for sale. They had to drop the price since their viewership went down 54%. You didn't tell us the truth. Didn't tell us anything. So I will gladly address the fun stuff coming up today about the ancient Egyptians. And just remember, it's going to be my style of history. I'm the guy that brought you the short spit, snot, mucus, and snails. So it's going to be kind of like that. So if I were you, I'd put that extra splash of cream or Coffee Mate in your coffee if you're watching this in the morning. I don't want to get blamed for any boiling, burning substance, liquid going up your nose if I catch you off guard. And then with that, let's continue. Let's start with the fact that ancient Egyptians, who pride themselves on being the best in the medical field, I mean, they were the Harvard of the olden days, upon examining the human brain, they considered that the sole purpose and function of this organ was to produce thoughts, words, sentences, and colors. No, no, they didn't. Calling Dr. Ben Casey. There you go. Throw that one out. Try to find him. Well, Ben Casey was a neurosurgeon, but let's not go there. They actually thought the brain did nothing more than produce snot. See, I told you it was going to come down to this. That's all they thought it did. Produce snot and mucus for those nasal membranes. Yeah, you might want to pick up that coffee, wipe it off the floor now before the ants come in. There, I just lost half of you. I know it. See, I have fun doing this. This is what I live for. Another great piece of ancient wisdom, of medicine, no less, was the treatment of insanity. Oh, God. Whew. The Doctors of the Nile. Yeah, there you go. Doctors of the Nile. That might be a good punk band rock. You remember them. All they, if they wrote a prescription for insanity, it would consist of something like this: in the bath of a full moon, swallow about a dozen of these snake meatballs. Chew them first. It makes no mention of if they had Egyptian werewolf problems or anything like that. Let's stay with the medical field. There's more. The ancient proctologists. Okay, you know where I'm going with this right off the bat. These are the guys that gave the Pharaoh the old 1-2. Sometimes coffee grounds, sometimes Irish mud. I don't know. They were called the shepherds of the anus. Kind of wonder what kind of staffs and rods these shepherds used. You got to poke in that willy every now and then. Glove up. All Egyptian lettuce had some same active ingredient as, I can't really say it, but we'd say it's Signal 95 for a drug violation in cop talk. And let's just say it was white powdery substance that came down from, I don't know, Bolivia, Venezuela, Colombia. Wink, wink. I don't even know why I worry about this. I'm not losing any money. It's cocaine. Same active ingredient as cocaine. And y'all thought you had to go over to South America to get potatoes. That's where they originated, by the way, not Ireland. Todd, I'm going to email you back on that. And let me look at that report before you turn it in. Stop typing with just your thumbs. Oh, boy. I hope this was used by the shepherds of the anus. I'd hate for them to miss a golden opportunity like that with that staph probe. Moving on. Ancient doctors of the pharaohs, in an attempt to cure blindness, would take the patient's ear, turn it on its side, then pack it with a smashed up eyeball of a pig. There is no follow-up report on this if this worked out. But Egyptians did develop probably the oldest prosthesis. A mummy had been recovered with a fake 3,000-year-old toe. How does history miss all these? I don't know. I missed something here. Wait a minute. Oh, yeah, I forgot about this one. Let's go down to the river's edge. You know which river. Don't be in denial about it. Bad joke, sorry. So the ancient pharaohs of the Nile routinely and religiously went down to that river I just mentioned to place their essence into the water. Yeah, they did this right in front of the gods and everything. So there would be plenty of rain and water for the seasons. That's correct. They would take their Wang Chung out in front of the gods and anyone else that was there and play a theme in their head until he dropped the goods in the river. You're not going to get this anyplace else. Norman Cantor, he never wrote this. I mean, he mentioned some things, but I don't think he got as much fun out of it as I did. Speaking of the Nile, according to the ancients, the new year never began until it flooded. Party on. I know that Pharaoh thing was a little weird about the, Wang Chung. I lost my place again. I do that. I'm getting older. So they were really, back to the Pharaoh, they were really good to their cats. We hint at that. They were guardians of the afterlife, blah, blah, blah. Well, people weren't the only thing they mummified. They mummified cats too. And so they wouldn't be alone so much in the afterlife. They got some mummified mice too, just to torment after they died. These are the same people that use, part of the giraffe's tail as a fly swatter, which I thought was a pretty good idea. 2 points for that. But the ancients lose points for only allowing gods and members of the royal household to indulge in marshmallows. No s'mores for the peasants. That sucked. Speaking of the pharaohs, they had a whole line of priests, that would guard everything and, the afterlife and yada, yada, yada in the temples. Well, apparently the priests had a couple of problems. They weren't allowed to eat or devour any onions in fear that it might raise their libido. I'm going to have French onion soup after this, see if that works out. Sure, that makes sense, because they also believe the juice of the onion was a contraceptive. These are Egyptians, not today's Egyptians, the ones that we built our foundations of civilization on. Some women of the ancient Egyptian culture were tattooed with lines and symbols. Some of these tats go back to 2100 BCE, which is before the Common Era, to be correct, politically correct. Some historians think that the women of this time believed that the arrangements of these lines and dots of tattoos would help with their fertility. Ramses apparently worked for him. Ramses II, according to a historic study. That's right. Some government put up money for a bunch of historians to go down to the dungeons and write this stuff up. Ramses II fathered 50 sons and 53 little girls. Way to go, dude. Way to go. I'm sure having a harem didn't hurt. But I would want to, where's his diet at? I bet he didn't consider anything with onion. I don't know. I bet it would. Maybe he did. Ate a bushel of onions before every meal. The Greek historian Herodotus, the father of history, he wrote in the 5th century BCE that everyone in the Egyptian household would mourn the death of their cat by shaving their eyebrows. Not the cat's eyebrows, their eyebrows. And God forbid, if the family dog should pass along to the afterlife, the whole family would shave their heads and all their body hair. And as it should be, because it's a dog, not a 2-cent cat. Stop typing, okay? I'm just making a joke. I can hear you all now. Some mummies were given fake penises for a happy afterlife. How bad was it there? Oh my God. I guess if they weren't happy on their own, this would help. A fake penis. I want a large one when I die. Okay. Those of the Egyptian world who were well off slept with the supports around their necks. You know why? As not to screw up their hairdo. I think Hollywood missed the calling. Never mind those wigs things. There should have been some original hairdos. They should have really did the best on that. See Cleopatra all over again. By the way, Cleo the Seventh, not Egyptian at all. Probably Greek, Macedonian, or maybe Iraqi. Everything but an Egyptian. Sorry, that's free. In the ancient streets of Egypt, if you're walking by and you go by a bakery, if it's got an ear tacked to it, the door, already you should be on alert. Don't use that bakery because apparently he cheated his customers in the past. I wonder what he would say if he had two ears. What? Never mind. Bad joke. That's nothing though. If you go around the block to the butchers of the town, you would notice they're wearing high heels to keep their feet from being stained with blood. Talking about a wet market. Get your mind out of the gutter. It's a Chinese thing. Whew. Just to get the point across, how important King Tutankhamun, King Tut, was. He was the only ancient Egyptian, only one, entombed with a fully erect man part. Let that soak in for a second. Now, I've heard that when men get strangulated, now this I'm just going off on something weird. How did history miss that one, huh? King Tut. King Tut. Fully erect. Man part. There's more to follow. I'm serious. I got a degree in this stuff. Now etology, God forbid. Doctors of ancient Egypt, oh God, have papyrus records dating back to 1600 BCE where they performed a facial procedure which presented with a broken nose and that makeup couldn't cover it up. So they did the first nose job by an attempt to align the nasal cavity and then pack it with some unknown material and just wait for the nose to heal. No follow-up with Big Nose Sheila. I don't know. The first pharaoh of the United Ancient Egypt, the upper and lower kingdoms, met with his demise at the at the jaws of a hippo. Those things are dangerous. More people are killed by hippos than crocodiles. Did you know that? I'm not making this stuff up. In ancient Egypt, there was bowling. Granted, it was 9-pin. In fact, the Pilgrims, they had 9-pin bowling. They added a 10th pin so people wouldn't think they're gambling. Wink, wink. Ancient Egyptian husbands, after being with their lovers, would chew up a bunch of garlic in order to hide any signs of unfaithfulness. Some still do it today. I don't know how this is going to hide anything. Ancient Egyptians planned for picnics for the afterlife. Mummified beef ribs, sliced duck, cooked goat meat. They were all found packed away with some mummies. Doesn't say anything about a basket or a blanket or anything like that. The Giza Pyramid, the big one of the ancient world, took more than 2 decades to build with 100,000 laborers working 10 hours a day for 20 years. I'm sure they took a break every now and then. Now they paid them, used to pay them like in beer. That was one of the side things they got. And the last king of Egypt, this isn't ancient, but I thought it was funny. The last king of Egypt stole Winston Churchill's watch. What can I say? Time's up. Oh, come on. That was an easy one. If you like this type of stuff, give me a thumbs up. If not, I'm sorry, write a comment. Tell me what you don't like, because I don't know what you couldn't like about that. Remember to subscribe. I'm trying to get to 100 by the Christmas. Christmas. All right. I'll see you next time.